Hey there, it's Board Game Dave. Today we're looking at the third most played game in my collection, Sagrada. Sagrada is a dice drafting and window crafting game for 1 to 4 players that takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. In this game, players are artisans attempting to complete their own stained glass windows while also scoring for certain public and private objectives. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. The game plays over the course of 10 rounds, and each round works like this. The starting player reaches into the bag and draws out dice equal to 2 times the number of players plus 1. So in a 3-player game, they draw 7 dice. They draw those dice, they roll them, that becomes the supply. From that supply, the first player takes a die, the second player takes one, and the third player takes one. Then the third player takes their second die, second player takes a second die, and the first player takes their second die. The 7th and last die ends up on the round track, showing that the round is over. The starting player rotates clockwise, and you're done with that first round. The first die that you place in this game has to go somewhere in the perimeter of your window. Each die after that has to be adjacent to a die you've already placed, either orthogonally or diagonally. And that's it! Except there's more. You see how some of the spaces on your windows have colors or numbers in them? Those indicate what color or value die you need to put in those spaces. Furthermore, dice that have the same value or number can never share sides on your window, but they can be diagonal. In each game, there will be 3 different tools that you can use to either mitigate some of those bad dice rolls or get around some of those pesky rules. At the beginning of the game, you'll get 4 different windows to choose from. Depending on the difficulty of that window, you'll get anywhere from 3 to 6 favor tokens. The first time a tool is used, it costs just 1 favor token. Each subsequent use, however, costs 2 favor tokens. Each game will also have 3 random public objectives. Things like 6 points for each row with no repeated colors, 2 points for each pair of 1s and 2s anywhere on your board, or 4 points for each column with no repeated numbers. You'll be working toward those goals throughout the game, but you'll also have your own private objective. Your private objective card will show one of the 5 colors in this game. During the scoring phase, you'll look at all of the dice of that color in your window, add up all of their values, and add that to your score. You'll also get 1 point for each unused favor token. And that's it. I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but now you know how to play Sagrada. I should mention that this game does include a solo mode. In order to win, your score has to be higher than the sum of all of the dice left over on the round tracker, and most rounds you're gonna have 2 dice left over, so it really makes you think about not only which dice you're taking, but which dice you're leaving behind. It's a very clever and fun solo game, and I've only beaten it 1 time on medium difficulty. I should also mention that I love the 5 to 6 player expansion for this game. Obviously, this lets you play up to 6 players, so it comes with more of everything, but it also includes this cute little dice tray to roll your dice into, and also these private dice pools. They recommend using these for higher player counts, and the way it works is, at the beginning of the game, you roll your own 10 dice. That way, each round, you're only choosing 1 from the dice tray and 1 from your own private pool. This speeds up the game and mitigates some of the luck factor because you can see 10 of the dice that are going to end up in your window. I like using these at any player count, but that's just a personal preference. Anyways, let's get to the ratings. On this channel, I have 7 criteria I use to score a game. Let's quickly go through each of them. First is the art and components. Sagrada gets a 10 out of 10. I love the bag, I love the dice, I love these windows, I love these boards. All the components are fantastic, and in the base game, you get 90 of these little translucent dice. I mean, that right there is awesome. Next is the complexity and audience. This game is categorized as a family game, and although it's a bit on the heavier side, it's a game I've really enjoyed playing with my parents and my siblings. It's a game many families would enjoy. I give it a 9 out of 10. Third is thematic integration. Now, this is a very abstract game, and I was gonna give it a low score for theme initially, but then I thought, at the end of the game, you look down at your board and you've got these window spaces that are filled with these small, translucent, colorful pieces, and that's pretty thematic, right? It's nice to be able to look down at the board and see this beautiful window that you created at the end of the game. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10 for thematic integration. Next is intuitive mechanics. While placing the dice itself is pretty simple and straightforward, some of the objectives can be a little bit tricky and the tools can be a little bit wonky too. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Next is replayability, and Sagrada gets a 9 out of 10. You've got all these different objectives, you've got all these different tools, you've got all these different windows you can choose from. Each game is gonna feel different. They did a great job with replayability on this game. Next is the length and fun factor. Personally, I think this game is a great length, it's fun throughout, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. There can be some downtime between turns, especially at higher player counts, but even what other people do on their turns is interesting because that determines which dice will be left for you to choose from. I give the game a 9 out of 10 for length and fun factor. And finally, the cost versus value quotient. I was amazed that this game is selling for under $30 right now. Under 30 bucks for 90 dice for these great thick heavy boards. That is a steal. Great bang for your buck. 30 bucks is a bargain. I give it a 10 out of 10. Overall, this game gets a solid 9 out of 10, and it's a game that my family has enjoyed many times. If your family likes puzzly, abstract games like Splendor or Azul, I bet they'll love Sagrada. By the way, I mentioned that Sagrada is my third most played game. You can check out the other games that my family really enjoys playing by clicking right there. In the comments, let me know what you think of Sagrada. Or if you've never played, what's your favorite dice game? Maybe Coimbra, or Rajas of the Ganges, or the Castles of Burgundy? This is a great one. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Take care and happy gaming. Bye. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week, take care, and thanks for watching. That's not what I say. That's not... Personally, I think this game is the... Ouch. That's not how it goes. And thanks for watching.